Hey everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Rise of the Triad. So if you're not familiar, Rise of the Triad is an old-school first-person shooter franchise, I believe originally published by Apogee Software, who are also the publishers of this game. This is super weird, and I hope the publishers don't get offended by me saying this, but I kind of thought Apogee Software went under like 15 years ago, because they used to make all sorts of games that I played when I was a kid on the PC. I believe they published stuff like Jazz Jackrabbit and all that jazz. That was the most awkward way to phrase that, and I apologize. But it's back, and they're here basically bringing the FPS genre back to its crazy, twitchy roots. This is Rise of the Triad Rebooted. It's available on Steam for 15 bucks, and it is unlike basically any other first-person shooter that has come out in quite some time. This is old school, simplistic, but also absolute batshit insane. It's out of its goddamn mind, and it is also ludicrously fun, especially in multiplayer. We'll show off multiplayer in a second. First things first, though, we're just going to show off a normal level in single player. So I'm going to overwrite my existing save. And we can choose which character we want to play as here, you know, pretty standard archetypes. They don't have, like, individual powers or anything like that, so why don't we just play as this kind of, like, douchebaggy-looking Adrian Brody type guy. I feel bad saying that because I believe that the characters are actually based off of the developers. But anyway, I just skipped over the initial cutscene. It doesn't matter all that much. Essentially, you know, the Triad is this, like, renegade terrorist cell that has taken over an island, and we're sent in to stop them. This is a game that is very, very reminiscent of old-school first-person shooters. The last shooter that I can really think of that I played that was kind of like this was like Return to Castle Wolfenstein ages ago. So, first thing you're probably going to notice is that Rise of the Triad moves substantially faster than any other game we've played, or probably any other first-person shooter you've seen in a long time. Actually, I'm going to take an opportunity here to go in the settings and actually adjust my mouse sensitivity. For once, I'm not playing a first-person shooter on the Xbox 360 controller, so I'm sure many of you are pleased with that. We gotta say, as a casual level player, I am incapable of handling the ludicrous speeds that sometimes Rise of the Triad throws at me. So, we start with the pistols. We've got unlimited ammunition. Let's come in here and mow down wave after wave of enemy to get points. Now, as you kill enemies, get points. You get a high score, you can see your completion come up there, and, you know, you've also got times up there, so you can try to beat the level as fast as is humanly possible. I don't think hey! You what, mate? Anyway, he's deceased. It's a very simplistic kind of style of first-person shooter. You will figure out what the heck is going on pretty darn quickly here. Oh, I thought he was going to surrender, actually. These coins that we pick up here, essentially those just add to our score and our completion, and there are leaderboards that these will feed into as well. This is a game, and I don't mean this too derisively, but the single player I definitely do not think is going to be the primary focus for playing this. I've had a reasonable amount of fun with the single player. For those of you who do not mind playing a fairly superficial and shallow single player, you might find this enjoyable, but is it worth $15 for single player alone? Unlikely, but the multiplayer redeems it and then some, as you will see in just a second. So I'm going to use this jump pad here to see if I can, you know, get up here and unlock some new weapons or something. I actually didn't come here on my first try, so we just picked up a little bit of armor, I guess. So there's also food that we can pick up. This is monk meal. So again, you know, this is a shooter where you do not recover health just by, you know, having your vision get all blurry and then you hide behind a rock for a little while. You're picking up actual, well, I guess, I don't know if it's actual food. I don't know what monk meal is, but what can I say? I've never been very religious. Just wait a second for this elevator to come up and we'll murder this dude in here. I thought there was supposed to be dudes in here. There's one right there. Okay. So he's blown himself up. I think there was a mine or something. Now, the weapons. One thing I want to point out is that the rocket launcher is probably, it might not be fair to say it's the crux of Rise of the Triad, but, you know, a lot of the fun of Rise of the Triad is to be had when you're using these weapons that are absolutely out of their goddamn mind. So the rocket launcher is a big one of those. These weapons that are a little bit more powerful and special have limited ammunition. And, you know, as far as rocket launchers go, this is a pretty good one, but it's also not nearly the most insane weapon that we will see in our time with Rise of the Triad, as you'll see when we get into the multiplayer game. Now, there are also these kind of stage hazards that you can see. I did not know there was a jump pad there. We should be able to just skip right over this then. Okay, that could have hurt us reasonably. There's also this weapon, for example, which is God Mode, and what God Mode... Oh, God. What God Mode allows you to do is essentially absolutely destroy enemies. Where am I getting shot at from? For example... Oh, that didn't work. For example, just like that, we can eviscerate, you know, limb from limb. What are you doing with your whole mouth here? Okay, so we'll kill this man, we'll kill this man. It's just a kind of an introductory level, so don't worry too much about the fact that we're showing off a level that is not necessarily representative of the entire game. This is actually kind of a hard part here. We have bullet armor, though, so... Oh, hey! These shots do home in as well. basically, what I'm trying to show off with a single player here is that, you know, Rise of the Triad, you know, it does one thing really, really well, and that is harken back to you know, a day and age when, oh, Jesus Christ, when first-person shooters were vastly different than they are now. Okay, first off, we can also turn on our, like, infrared heat-seeking here, I guess. Shoot him, and then everyone up here should be dead, and we'll just platform up onto this area. So, you know, this should be immediately familiar to anybody who's played first-person shooters in the 90s or early 2000s. But, hey, where are these torsos coming from? Jesus Christ. There are some occasional glitches and graphical errors that you'll see. And, you know, to be quite honest with you, they actually make the game a little bit more charming, especially when you get, like, some really great, like, visual tearing. So you, like, blow somebody up with a rocket launcher, and then, you know, like, his torso ends up somewhere, but his legs are still attached. By the way, I should probably point out, you know, it's a fairly gory game. It might not necessarily be the kind of thing that you want to buy for your very young children, but who am I to say how you should parent? In any case, I believe that's like the end of the level on one side here, so I'm just should probably pick up these coins. It can't possibly be the end of the level. That would be far too early. Levels typically end up being about 10 minutes long, and there is no shame in losing on some of these levels. I have gotten my ass kicked on these, and usually had to repeat them multiple times in order to succeed. Okay, so where are we supposed to go here? We can use our jump pad, I guess, get up here. Hey, what are you doing? This is where we started. We don't want to come back to this way, I think. I think we want to go back this way. You're not supposed to get lost either. It's a fairly linear experience for the most part. You can indeed rocket jump as well. I don't think this is the exit, is it? Or is this where I just came from? Okay, 1 second here. My apologies. I think I need to open that gate, but isn't there like, oh, a switch I need to hit? There we go. Okay, crisis averted. Oh, this is where we just were, though. What am I doing with my life? Let's come up here and see what we got. I can probably rocket jump over up here, but I don't... Oh, a nice supply of coins. Yes, there are secret areas which you'll need to hit in order to get to 100% completion. But that's not really what I'm concerned about right now. Neither am I concerned with that dude's pancreas up there. Mostly just concerned with actually finding my exit. So I just give me a second here to find this switch. Literally a second in that case for once. And we will come through this way and be able to come through here. Yes, okay. Crisis averted. It looks like another secret area. And there are no other assholes around me. Or is this is where we started the game? Okay. Don't kill yourself, but I'm going to try to rocket jump up here because I don't see any, oh my god. I don't see any other jump pads, so we'll give it a try. I only have 3 rockets left. There we go. Medium secret area discovered. So I guess I'm just backtracking at this point, and I will see you guys in just a second when I figure out where the heck I am supposed to go, unless it is just to the left here, in which case we'll continue onwards. It is! Okay, never mind. That was kind of a muted response there. Oh my god, okay, just kill these guys. Now we've got the submachine gun. Weapons feel very good. This is all just a brief amuse-bouche, if you will. A titillation until we get to the multiplayer, which is where the absurd focus of the game really comes to shine. Because as of right now, I can understand if you were watching this and you're like, you know, it looks kind of shallow, the AI doesn't look very strong, which it definitely isn't. You know, they're meant mostly to just be cannon fodder. That being said, you know, they throw so many enemies at you and the game moves so quickly that it is still very easy to die, but we'll see in the multiplayer in a second where the game's charms truly lie. So let's run through here. The guns feel really satisfying, I have to admit. Especially, there's some nice touches here that you might not notice at first glance. For example, notice that the ammunition is actually just like 2 clips taped together, and when I want to reload, my dude just pulls it out and then, you know, turns it around and pops it back in the other way. But if I reload again, then he throws it out and gets an entirely new clip. So kind of nice, absurd touches like that. Let's murder this man and come through here. I can't remember if we get a special weapon known as the flame wall on this level or a future level. Let's come through here. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that there have been some times when I've been playing Rise of the Triad where I've encountered glitches. Some of them are just superficial, you know, visual glitches. Some of them make it impossible to fire my weapon, like my weapon will just lock for a certain amount of time. And that's the major one that I've encountered so far. It happens occasionally in multiplayer as well. But apart from that, it's relatively stable. I've never had a crash while running it, but I have encountered some glitches that were not completely dismissible, if that makes any sense. Am I supposed to say oi when I got hit? I didn't realize that he was Australian. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But again, it doesn't really take away too much from the overall amount of fun here, which is fairly strong. Again, especially in multiplayer. But even just showing out the single-player mode, showing you what you can expect if you're not interested in playing the online, which is, you know, a fairly indicative or representative of reminiscent. That's what I'm going for, of early 2000s and late 90s first-person shooters. This is the end of the level. We get this kind of splash screen at the end here. I would not say I did particularly well. Let us quit back to the main menu, and then we'll go into the multiplayer mode, which is where the absurd amount of fun really comes to shine. So let's see. Oh man, a lot of these have unfortunately distant pings, or it's not organized by ping. I guess it's distance from the actual server. But why don't we try Tucker? Seems good to. Why don't we try QuakeCon actually? Deathmatch map is drop the base, players 7 out of 16, and it's public. Fantastic. So we'll load into that, and we will take a random character and begin. I don't know that the characters actually have different stats associated with them, so we'll connect to the game here and see if this works. So far in multiplayer, I've been playing a lot pre-release, and people are damn good. It reminds me a lot of like Quake multiplayer, like Quake 3 multiplayer, Quake 3 Arena, and a little bit Unreal Tournament-y as well, except less focused on skill shots, and I hesitate to say that because I know people are going to be like, fuck you, Northernlion, you just don't know because you're bad. Well, that might be true as well. High latency detected. Hopefully we can do a little bit better here by trying a different server, but we shall see. Maybe we'll try, Megadeth Holy Wars is full. What about this one? Triad.net, combat a bridge too near. I believe there's only 2 modes. There's Deathmatch, well, Deathmatch, Team Deathmatch, and then also Capture the Flag as well. And I haven't actually played any Capture the Flag, but Deathmatch and Team Deathmatch are a whole ton of fun. Now, this is definitely one of those games where you're going to end up probably killing yourself as much as you actually kill the enemy. So, hopefully I actually load into the map at some point here. I mean, we can see the map. There's, you know, fountains of blood. That's super cool. But if we could actually be able to do anything here, that would be even better. In fact, I cannot even escape. So I'm going to resolve this technical issue, and I will see you guys in a second. Hey everybody, I finally got into a match here. So there's 2 things you need to know about Rise of the Triad multiplayer. We are just playing deathmatch here. One is that if you talk and type, you type in the Microsoft Sam voice. So you can just type like John Madden, John Madden. You couldn't really hear it. The other thing is if you press F, you get a 1995 style taunt. Let me respawn in here and do it. That is one of them. Let me try another one here in just a second.
You got me.
Alright, so those are examples of the 1995 style taunts. And, oh my god, they represent pretty clearly and pretty quickly what this game is all about, which is just having a lot of fun. It's not necessarily the most well-balanced first-person shooter, but it is probably the craziest that I have played in a long, long time, and I have a lot of respect for it as a result of that. Now, we are playing on a very small map here. I'm just going to try to pick up one of the crazier weapons, which is the flame wall, and if, basically the way that this works is if you shoot it down, then a wall of fire will kind of spread out, and it'll go all the way to the wall, where it will then explode. Let's try this on this guy right here. Now, he's going to light on fire and probably die. He also has, yeah, he had a rocket launcher there, which could have killed me very easily. This is a game where, you know, it's not like some first-person shooters where every weapon is considered to be, you know, equally balanced. You know, like, oh, you know, the SMG is like a rock, paper, scissors. It can beat the shotgun, and the shotgun's really good, you know, up close and personal. It's not really like that. This is a situation where, you know, you start out with a pistol, and if you still have that pistol in a few minutes' time from the start of the game, you're going to find yourself in a really nasty place. Instead, you want to rush for those rockets, at least in my experience, and, oh, God. Where was that guy? Yeah, he was on top of me, I guess. You want to rush for the rockets. You want to rush for things like the flame wall. I have been killed by a man whose name I do not wish to mention here. He's also very good at the game, though, as we saw him win that. Oh, you guys weren't here. Sorry, that was a technical glitch. I've seen him before, is all I'll say about that. And then, oh, get out of the way here. Come on, flame wall, don't do me dirty. Oh, Jesus Christ. So yeah, it's definitely, this is not a tactical first-person shooter. You are not playing Rainbow Six. You are not playing even a Call of Duty or a Counter-Strike. You are playing, essentially, you know, a throwback to early 2000s and late 90s first-person shooters and all of the batshit insanity that comes along with it. Okay, so we're gonna die if we just have our pistol here. There are very rare situations where you can get into a pistol duel, but otherwise you are likely going to end up getting blasted by a railgun or somebody who's in God mode, which is that, like, power-up where you can just use your hand to throw like a fireball at someone. That's a really good weapon right there. This is like a cluster bomb launcher, essentially. I don't know if they all have their own individual names. So most weapons also, I should mention, have a secondary... Oh my god, I very nearly walked into that. Most weapons have a secondary fire as well. I don't know that this one does. Oh my god, did I just get bitten by a dog? There is, not only is there God mode, where you can like shoot lightning bolts out of your hands, but there's also a dog mode, where you can play, you know, Call of Duty dog, basically, and go around and try to bite people. So this is a very small map, and it's kind of unfortunate because it's not really... Oh god! I don't think there's any chance for it. Basically, if someone comes at you with a really powerful weapon, your best hope is probably just to force them to try to kill themselves. Oh, Jesus Christ. So the other thing I will mention as a negative about Rise of the Triad multiplayer is that I have noticed some serious latency issues. And now part of that might be... Oh god, I'm gonna die. Part of that might be, you know, I'm here in Vancouver, which is not necessarily close to all of the servers, although, you know, you'd assume if there was some in Seattle or even San Francisco or LA that I would probably get pretty good connections. But that hasn't really been the case so far. That being said, the game's absurd nature kind of benefits it. I don't know what this weapon is, actually. I've never seen this one before. Okay, it's a rocket launcher. Fair enough. The game's absurd nature kind of benefits it in that extent. Which is not to say, like, oh, I'm glad that the game is laggy occasionally. It's more like, this is not like we're having a heated enemy at the gate style sniper battle. We are instead, you know, just firing rockets at one another from across the map. So even though it is still annoying and a little bit frustrating at times, it's not the end of the world. I'm still going to die here. That's what's really good about the flame wall, is that if anybody even lights you on fire with it, you are basically done. So I don't know what's up with this lightning bolt that's just been stuck on the map. Can I, like... Oh, Jesus. I have been torn limb from limb, and my face is dissolving like I'm in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like, what is this thing right here? I think that's just like a graphical glitch that exists. So, you know, there's... Oh. We have like a three-way pistol duel. Oh my god, I accidentally hit that guy directly with the rocket. My mistake. And I got another kill there. That's basically how I get my kills, is just camping out on the rockets. I have been killed by pistols before, though, and it's incredibly frustrating because you're like, oh, there are some people who are good at this video game. Did I at least get a kill out of that? I don't think so. But again, most important thing, John Madden, man. And also, you know, pressing the F button, which causes a huge echo. Again, just a total commitment to absolute absurdity that makes Rise of the Triad really fun. So, you know, it all boils down to, is this worth your $15? If you're the kind of person who is, you know, like a big fan of games like Quake 3 Arena, and you're okay with a game that is basically, it comes across as the same kind of aesthetic as Duke Nukem Forever, but a more polished and fun version of a game like Duke Nukem Forever, where the most important thing is just, you know, batshit insanity, then yeah, absolutely, check it out. It's $15 on Steam. It's well worth it. I think if you can get some friends together, you will absolutely get your money's worth on multiplayer. Single player, you know, I'm not the fondest. Oh, okay, so the secondary fire for this weapon is that it actually splits the rockets. That's really neat, actually. I guess I should check the other weapon to see if there's a secondary fire on that one as well that I missed earlier. That being said, it's still not my favorite weapon in the game. Largely, one of the ways I die the most in this game is 100% killing myself. Northernlion had an accident is one thing that you'll see on the screen constantly if previous trends hold. Now, we're up a little higher than we usually are, which is good. It's just spam like all these rockets down here. Oh, I wonder, it looked like you could split him more times, actually. Do we have a secondary? Oh, God. That was really silly of me to just stand there. Standing still in Rise of the Triad usually means that you are about to die. Probably should not have jumped down there. There's an example of the visual tearing that you can see. I don't know if visual tearing is the correct word for it. I just basically let that happen. It's definitely a game as well where people can, like, snowball out of control. There's not much in the way of balancing factors that kind of pull people back. And that's going to do it for the end of the game, I guess. I went 9 and 16. Pretty bad. And I'm actually going to exit back to the main menu here because I think we have shown off all we need to really show off with Rise of the Triad. It's $15. By watching this, you probably know whether you're going to love or hate this game. If you were looking for like an MLG first-person shooter that could become an esport, I don't think Rise of the Triad is going to be that. But if you, you know, are a man or lady of a certain age and you played these games growing up and you want a brief hit of nostalgia, I don't know, I shouldn't say brief necessarily, but if you want a hit of nostalgia, feel free to check out Rise of the Triad, available on Steam for $15. I think it's well worth it if you're looking for a dose of, you know, again, late 90s, early 2000s, Quake 3 Arena-style insanity, plus the John Madden Microsoft Sam voice and the sweet, echoey, you gotcha 1995 taunts. In any case, as always, thanks for watching. There will be a link in the video description to pick up Rise of the Triad on Steam, and I will see you next time.